don't care about the others. You set my world on fire.
Alright, I almost forgot to put on, my gosh, whenever I put on my lights, I have to like adjust. But I just set up my third light and I was like, should I put up the last light? No. And then I sat down and I'm like, yeah. So I set it up and then I forgot to turn it on at first. But anyways, you guys, I haven't done a sit down video in a while, and if you've been following me for a while, why can't I talk today? If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love doing sit down videos. Especially it's like I don't have to wear pants. I am wearing shorts, but you know what I mean. I don't have to if I didn't want to. But today, by the title, I'm filming my getting through the terrible twos. Now this was suggested for me to do by a subscriber, so thank you so much for the suggestion. I thought it was really good, and especially if you guys watch my vlog, you know I've definitely gone through the terrible twos. Paxton, I'm not gonna say he was like, okay, he was a difficult 2-year-old, I'd say, and he definitely, you know, like every kid does, has his meltdowns and stuff like that, but he was very, very stubborn, like tested so many limits where I had to be like, take a step back and breathe, like really breathe. And I'm like, this kid is really testing me, like, oh my gosh. He's like, tries it, and it's crazy how like, when they're so little they try to manipulate you. Like, I'm like, stop. But anyways, I'm gonna talk about things that have really worked for me, things that have not worked for me, and what still things I still go by, even though now he is 3, what I use all the time. And I'm telling you, it has made a huge difference in our lives, like every single day. My hair is like crazy. What's my hair doing? Oh my gosh. As soon as I put the lights on, I'm like, oh my gosh, the lights are so hot. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Paxton. When he was 2, it was like probably a month or 2 before he turned 2. He was like a different kid. I'm like, who are you? He likes to destroy everything. He is, I swear, he's gonna be like a little engineer or something. He loves to take things apart and put them back together. Sometimes not put it back together, just rip it apart. And I mean, a lot of kids like to do that, but he was really into just destroying things. And it's funny because before you have kids, you're like, oh, I'm never gonna do this when I have a kid, or I'm definitely not gonna do that. And those things mean absolutely nothing until you have your own child and you're in the certain situation and you're like, oh my gosh, like I just, for my sanity, I just want you to sit here quietly and let us eat. Like, sometimes you just do what you have to do, whether it's let them watch an iPad, don't let them watch an iPad, color at the table, whatever, don't eat, whatever. Like, sometimes it's like you have to pick your battles, and that's one thing, is definitely picking your battles. I will say definitely one strategy is to make sure you and your partner are on the same page. It's so important to not give mixed signals to your kids, and it's like, oh, I say one thing and then Rob says another. So we really, that's one thing like we both agree on, like we both go through with what we say. Like if I say it's no, Rob will say no too. Like Paxton never will get one answer from me and one answer from Rob, like never. So far anyways, but we're really good about that. So definitely try to stay on the same page. And if like something comes up where you need to talk about it first, decide what you're going to do, and then implement that. So that's definitely an important strategy. Another thing is follow through. Because especially if it's something like, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do this, and then, okay, he's driving you crazy, so then you let him do it anyways. So say I'm doing like sleep training. If you guys have watched my sleep training video, I will link it right here. When I was doing sleep training with Maverick, it's like, say you're going to let him cry for 3 minutes, cry for 5 minutes, cry for 7 minutes, and then you do that, crying for 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, whatever time you want to do, depending, like if you're doing it at this method, like the Ferber method. So say you let him cry for 3, 5, 7, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it, and you just give in. That was a waste. So he just basically cried for no reason. Sleep training is a topic itself. Like, some people are for it, some people are not. Whatever, you can do whatever you want to do, but that's what I did with my kids. But I'm just saying, as like an example, if you give in, that time was like for no point, basically. So really make sure that you follow through. That's the most important thing also, is following through with what you say. Like Paxton, I definitely am never like, if you don't do this, we're not going here. Because I'm like, okay, say we're going to Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm like, we are going to Chuck E. Cheese. Like, I need to get out of this house. We're going to Chuck E. Cheese today. So I'm the kind of person, like, I'm not going to say, if you're naughty, we're not going to Chuck E. Cheese. Like, I will do a different, I will threaten something else that I know I can take away or I know will matter to him. So definitely don't threaten something that you will not follow through on. That's a huge thing as well. Like Rob, if he's like, oh, if you don't listen, we're not going to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm like, no. Like, don't say that. Like, do not say that.
We are going.
You know we're going. We're getting out of the house. We're going. So definitely make it something where it's going to happen. Like, say we're out and we need him to listen, like, right now. We won't say, like, when you get home, you're going to get a timeout. We'll do it, like, right there. Like, if he's acting out in a restaurant, Rob or myself will take him right out right away, and he will get a timeout. So having a repercussion right away helps more at this age. They don't really understand, like, why they're getting a timeout later on in the day. So some things that did not work for us, I'm definitely going to say, like, I've watched so many, like, videos on YouTube, and it's like, oh, do this and that will work. So every kid is different. What works for one kid isn't going to work for another one a lot of the times. So one parent might discipline this way, and that works great for that kid. But my way might not work for another kid. And like timeouts. Some people don't do timeouts, some people do. What worked for me mainly when he was younger, just like turning 2, timeouts did not work. Like, that did not work. That works now because he's a little bit older, but when he just turned 2, timeouts did not work. Mainly, I would just have to redirect him, and that's the only thing that really worked for him, is redirecting him. And I have tried taking away his toys. That didn't work. He would literally, I'd be like, does mommy need to take that away from you? Or does that need to go bye-bye? He would take his, like, favorite toy. It didn't matter. He would take it, he would throw it in the trash and say, bye-bye. Like, he wouldn't care at all. And you're like, what in the world? What am I gonna do? Because you're at, like, your wit's end. You're so desperate to figure out, like, what's going to work for disciplining for this kid. So that did not work for him. Timeouts at that age did not work for him. Really, redirecting is the only thing that worked for him, and having him on a schedule. A schedule is so important for my kids. Like, we go by schedule every single day. And the main thing that has helped me so much, I've mentioned this before in a favorites video, I'll show you guys again. The second thing I'm going to show you didn't work until he was a little bit older, but this worked pretty early on. It is a PEX system. Now, I used to work in an autistic classroom, and we use these all the time. I do it on our refrigerator. It comes with, like, you can buy it with, like, a magnetic board. I don't use the board personally, but I just put them on the refrigerator, and every single morning he looks at his schedule and sees what he has on the schedule. Just say today's Tuesday. I would put a Tuesday up top on our refrigerator. So when he wakes up, he usually will have, like, toy time, so he'll play with his toys while I'm making breakfast. So it would be like toy time, breakfast, get dressed, doctors. Like, this was what we did today. So toys, breakfast, get dressed, doctors. And say he's having a really difficult day where he needs a lot of direction, I will put, like, go potty, brush your teeth, where he'll need, like, the step-by-step thing. Just like a reminder, like if he's giving me problems getting on his shoes, I'll be like, what does your schedule say? Go look at your schedule. And he'll run over to his schedule and say, like, put on my shoes. And then I also give him jobs for the day. He can pick to feed our dog, help me with the dishes, or help me with laundry. I don't know where that one is, but he'll help me with laundry. He likes to, like, just put the clothes into the dryer and push the buttons, so he'll do that. So he loves to do, like, little jobs, and they like doing things like that to help you. He loves it. And then there's, like, nap time. Then usually when he's going to school, he goes to preschool. He's in the PK3 class, and he goes from 1 o'clock, well, 1:15 until I pick him up at 3:30. Right after school, he is able to get, if he has a good day, he's able to get an egg surprise. So this is just a reward. He loves egg surprises. If you guys have kids where they know about egg surprises, kind of just basically like an Easter egg. And I put a little treat in it. It could be a sticker. It could be a piece of chocolate, some Skittles or something like that. So after school, he gets his egg surprise and he's so excited. And before he leaves for school, I let him choose what he wants to do after school. He usually picks riding his bike, going to the playground, or just like playing outside. And then he'll get dinner, bath, brush teeth, and then bed. So these have helped so much. I'm not going to go too much into it. I've talked about these a bunch of times, but this has made such a difference. When we do not use this, I can see the difference right away. It's just a good visual schedule where, say he's asking for something that he's not allowed to get right now. Say he wants the iPad and it's not on the schedule right now. I'll say, is your iPad on the schedule right now? Go look at your schedule. He'll run over and say like, no, it's not, or whatever. He'll say like toy time, whatever it's during that time that he's asking. I'll say, you're right, it's not on the schedule. We do that after school, or we do that when you wake up. We do it at certain points. So that definitely helps him be okay with not getting something that he may want that's not on the schedule. Another thing that has made a difference that kind of like goes in line with that, this, if I had to pick one thing, it would be that, absolutely not this. But this does help us because it helps us get his egg surprise, because he only gets the egg surprise after school if he earns his stamps. So say during the day, I pretty much make it whereas if his last stamp would be getting the egg surprise. So the last stamp is school. If he has a good day at school, he gets a stamp, and he usually is really good at school. He has no problems at school. So say like in the morning, and I don't give it to him like, yay, you brushed your teeth, you get a stamp. It's basically more behavior like, oh, thank you so much for sharing with your brother. Like, that was really nice that you shared your toys, because that's kind of like his issue is like sharing, which is like most kids' issues. So if he does a really good job like just sharing, or that are really nice and kind, he gets a stamp. And then his last one is for school, and if he earned his last stamp, he gets his egg surprise, and he's so excited. And he'll say, when I pick him up, he'll say, egg surprise, mommy. And I said, yeah, you did really good at school and you earned your stamps. You get an egg surprise. So the reward of the egg surprise pretty much goes along with the reward system that I do. It feels like with Paxton, right before he turned 2, he seemed like a different kid. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what works for him. But this really, really works for him. I will absolutely say that for sure. But it feels like just like a week to 2 weeks before he turned 3, he turned into a different kid. Like me and Rob are always like, now he's so different. Like just the way he talks to us and his like manners and stuff, and his reasoning is so much better. And some people's are opposite, where they have really good 2-year-olds and like right when they turn 3, they're like way like crazier. But Paxton definitely seems to have gotten way more mellow, and even a few of my friends have seen a huge difference in him with playing with their kids and stuff. He's been really good with playing with his friends and stuff. Even my friend Tasia, her son and him, they're kind of like the same, where it's like they'd bicker and fight, and we'd have to always like, okay, you guys need to share, you need to, you know, do this. But they just both started preschool, and now they both share really well. We've only had to correct them like 2 times the last time he was over. So you can see the improvement during play dates. I feel like another way to get through the terrible twos is to not compare your kid with another kid, because kids have different temperaments. And like I said, what works for one kid may not work for yours. And try to remember, when people give you advice, other parents and stuff, they don't know your child like you know him or her. So if they say, you know, you should do this, this would definitely work so much better for him, or just give you, you know, ideas that you've already tried, just remember they're trying to help, and they may not, hopefully they don't mean anything mean by it, and they're just trying to help, and they don't understand your child's temperament, or they don't understand your child's stubbornness, because some kids are very laid back. Like my second son Maverick, he is way more laid back than Paxton and chill, and some kids are like that and some kids aren't. Some kids need a more structured day. Some kids need a visual reminder of what's expected of them. Some kids need a reward system. Some kids don't. And also another thing is, remember to uplift other moms, because as a mom, you know that there are hard days. There are days where you're like Is anyone going through this as well? Like, why is this such a bad day? Like, this day needs to be over. Just remember that, you know, everyone has hard days, and there are days where you were like, when is bedtime? Like, oh my gosh, when is bedtime? Because I know I have those days. And another thing to get through the terrible twos is to remember to put time for yourself. I'm not the greatest at doing this, but I try to remember to like pamper myself and just give myself a moment to breathe. Now, after having Maverick, I've been experiencing PMSing. I seriously thought people were like making that up. And now I'm like, this is a real thing. Like, it's horrible. I feel like I'm not in control of like my mind. Like I'm bipolar or something during it. I've had times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to put the kids down and I need to go in my room and take a breather. Like, so I've had Maverick and I'd put him in his crib before, and he might be crying for like 3 minutes, but he's okay. He's safe. And I will come into my room and I'll lay down and I'll be like, I need to take a breather. I need to just relax, because I'm so on edge when I have PMS, like just like irritable, that I need to give myself that time, and that's okay. And I shouldn't feel like mom guilt, like, oh my gosh, my kids are driving me insane today, because they're going to, especially at the age that they are right now. And I'm sure at even older ages, they just drive you insane sometimes, where you need your sanity and just have a breather. So definitely I recommend cutting yourself some slack and trying. I mean, mom guilt is so real. It's unbelievable how real mom guilt is. You know, you feel guilty as a mom. Did you do this enough? Did you yell too much? Did you teach them right? Like, what did you get done today? And it's hard. But you have to remember that they love you unconditionally. Sometimes you're just getting through the day, and that's okay. And I definitely understand just trying to get through the day and survive. I think another piece of advice about getting through the terrible twos is remembering that it's also like terrific twos. Like, they are such little scientists. It's insane, like how much they love to explore, and it's incredible. So as much as you like want to hurry up and like rush them through a stage because it could be like a difficult stage, you're gonna miss part of that stage once it's over. And they're not going to be that little again. And just thinking that, wow, Paxton's like seriously a big boy now. Like, he's in preschool. And that's another thing. If you are thinking about preschool, I've seen a huge difference in Paxton. I mean, his school, you have to be 3 to start pre-K 3. But it has just been such a difference, even in him just starting and seeing like 3 weeks worth. Like, the one day he was having a horrible day, like just acting out, not listening. And I was like, are we gonna get to school today? Like, are we gonna make it? I don't think so. So I'm like dragging him, and I'm like, we're getting to school. So we get to school, and he's like, still acting out. And then he's all of a sudden like, my friends, my friends. I'm like, that's right, boy. There's your friends. Let's go. So we go into school. He goes to school for 2 hours, like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I pick him up. He's a different kid. He's like, hi, Mommy. I had so much fun today. And he's so excited. The teacher said he had a great day. And it just makes me feel great as a mom. Like, yes, like this is what he needs, and this is perfect for him. And he sees how other kids are acting. And as much as like I want him home with me, I can't give him what he's getting right now in school without me there. You know what I mean? Like, even if you didn't put your kids in school, like a play group or something without you there, it's like so beneficial for them. Whereas it's like he would be acting different if I was there, and he wouldn't be able to just, you know, be on his own and making his own choices about mommy right by him. So personally, for him, like, this isn't for everybody, but for him, preschool has been an amazing thing. But getting through the terrible twos, you'll get through it. It's hard. It's definitely hard at times. But I think also, like, having mommy days and play dates with moms, finding a group of friends. I know MOPS was amazing for me. I've met a bunch of great friends through there, and I'm so thankful that I had that time, because it was 2 hours every other week. He was getting watched, and I had mom time for 2 hours, and it was amazing. And we got to talk and cry and connect. And I definitely recommend, if you guys have a MOPS, to look in to mops.com. They'll have your areas where there are MOPS. I didn't even realize it was like across the country that they did this. and there's a few different ones near me. So I'm so thankful that I made the decision to get out of my comfort zone and meet new people that I've never met before. So yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds, and I'm excited to see how Maverick's going to be as a 2-year-old. He's only 14 months, so we still have a little bit of time, but it's just weird to see how alike your kids can be in ways, but how different they can be, especially the same like gender. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got some ideas, and you remember not to be so hard on yourself, because as moms, it's hard not to. And you just pray that, you know, you just pray you're not screwing up your kids sometimes. You know, as a mom, it's like, oh my gosh, like I yelled at him. Is he gonna be okay? Like, he's gonna be fine. If you're giving them the cuddles and kisses, and, you know, if you're there for them, they'll be alright. Alright, you guys, I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
You had me at hello, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too.
You can ride all the blue.
I wanna do what you want to. We can leave and run.